name is Coralie Winn, and I'm one of the co-founders and the director of Gap Filler. And Gap Filler is it's an urban regeneration initiative in Christchurch, and it was started in response to the earthquakes that we have there. Mm-hmm. What we have in Christchurch is a situation where there's been a natural disaster. It's been massive. 80% of the city is gone. Whole suburbs and thousands of houses have been demolished. What's happened to Christchurch is massive, and I think that nationally, I don't think people really get it. And they come there and then they walk around and they go, right, far out, I get it now. Natural disasters and then the government-led recovery is really disempowering for people, because it takes away your sense of control. I can't do anything about the fact that an earthquake happened and most of the city is gone. And you feel really disempowered, but overwhelmed and depressed, and you get really tired as well. So with that government-led process, that kind of is very top-down. And what that also needs to be, in my opinion, and Gap Filler's opinion, is this bottom-up. But essentially what Gap Filler does is take vacant spaces, and they may be vacant lots where buildings used to be, mostly, because that's what we have, and sometimes vacant buildings or shops or walls, and activate them with projects. And the projects that we do are temporary. The vacant spaces in Christchurch are devastating, and it still affects me, because the scale of it is massive. The flip side of crisis is opportunity. There's a Chinese proverb that says that out of crisis comes these new ideas and opportunity. And I think that's really what's happened with Gap Filler. Sort of looking at these vacant lots or vacant spaces and saying, yes, there is a lot of history that they are. It is sad that these buildings are gone, but we can use these spaces in new and interesting ways to showcase new possibilities for the city and to provide people who aren't otherwise engaged in the recovery with a place to test out their ideas. And through doing that, they develop a connection to the city and start to care about the city in a way that they might not have otherwise. We've done community space-based projects where we actually create a community space with seating and garden and games from the ground up, so with local people in doing that. We've done murals and large-scale artworks on walls. We have created sort of more venues, like a pavilion, which was called the Pallet Pavilion, which was built from 3,000 wooden pallets, which was massive. It could hold 200 people. It was the biggest project we've ever done, but it was a venue that was then activated over a couple of summers. And the dancer mat's another project, which is kind of like a venue, I guess. It's a dance floor with coin-operated lighting and sound. So huge range of projects, from very small to very large. But most of them are trying to respond to a need. Like, what's a need in Christchurch? So, for example, the dance floor project, we didn't have many places for dance because a lot of them were destroyed. It is a problematic thing that so much of the city's architecture has been wiped out, because what that means is you get a lot of architecture from one period of time, and that's not normal in a city. Cities evolve over 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, hundreds of years. And if you think of Wellington, you've got very modern buildings, you've got Te Papa, you've got places on Cuba Street, which are really quite old. And it makes this kind of layering of history and a variety. Whereas in Christchurch, we're going to have a lot of buildings that are from one decade, which is going to be interesting long term, because it's going to make it kind of quite homogenous. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's going to be interesting, I think, to see how that long term, what that does for the tone of the city.